So, an example of a quadratic equation, and this was just asked on the discussion forum. It has the form 4x squared plus 110x minus 200 equals 0. Okay? Now we could solve this. We have a quadratic equation, and the quadratic equation is written in the form, in standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And whenever we want to solve these, that is the way we want to have them written. The x squared term first, then the x, and then the constant. Now here we know that a is going to be 4, b is going to be 110, and c is going to be 200. Now the answer to this equation, and they get it by completing the square, is where the formula comes from. But the answer to this equation is always x is equal to negative b, plus or minus, because there could be two solutions, one plus and one minus, the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill in, knowing that a is equal to 4. Now, to save myself a little trouble though, I could divide everything in the equation by 2, and that's actually going to help me. So why don't I head, before filling it in, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to rewrite 4x squared plus 110x minus 200 equals 0. Now I did nothing wrong up here, but I have some big numbers. I want to maybe simplify it a little bit. Now I notice that 4 is divisible by 2, 110 is divisible by 2, and 200 is divisible by 2. So I can use the distributive property to write 2 times 2x squared, because 2 times 2 is 4, plus 55x, because 2 times 55 is 110x, minus 100 equals 0. Now what I can do is I can divide both sides of the equation by 2, and 0 divided by 2 is 0, and the 2's cancel out here. And I wind up with an equivalent equation that says 2x squared plus 55x minus 100 equals 0. So all I do is divide out by 2. And again, I'm in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. But I wind up with c is 100, b is 55, and a is 2. Now to solve this equation, I just have to plug everything in here. So I'm going to go to a new page and just write down my values for a, b, and c. So once it's in the equations in the correct form, I know a, b, and c, then all I have to care about is the formula. And again, I'll just write down a equal 2, b equal 55, and c equal negative 100. So we have x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2a. Now I divided everything out by 2 before because I could, and smaller numbers are nicer to work with. So x is equal to, b is 55, so negative b is negative 55, plus or minus the square root of b is 55, so this is 55 squared, minus 4 times a is 2 times c is negative 100, all divided by 2 times a, but a is 2. So I can simplify this. This is going to be equal to negative 55 plus or minus the square root of, well, what's 55 squared? Let me do that real quick right here. So 55 squared is equal to 55 times 55, you can do it on your calculator, is equal to 55 times 50 plus 5 is equal to 50 plus 5 times 50 plus 5. You could have done this on your calculator. When I do things like this, it helps me do it in my head. I'm just doing it on paper so you could see. Now we just FOIL. 50 times 50 is equal to 2,500 plus 250 times 2, because there's going to be 250 times 2, which is 500, plus 25 is equal to 3,025. Okay? And you could have done that in your head actually with a slight modification on the trick, but I'm not going to go into those things. So we have 3,025, and negative 4 times 2 is negative 8, times negative 100 is going to be plus 800, divided by 2 times 2 is 4. Now this is going to equal negative 55 plus or minus the square root of 3,825 divided by 4. Now I'm pretty sure that this does not have a square root, so I think we will leave our answer in this form. So let me just check that real quick. And let me see, where's my calculator? And I'm going to cheat, I'm going to use the calculator, but we could figure it out otherwise. Calculator. So we want to go to scientific. And it's 3,825, which is approximately 61. So this is going to be our solution right here. Now there's a plus or minus, so we can write our solution separately, and we can say x is equal to negative 55 plus the square root of 3,825 divided by 4, and x is equal to negative 55 minus the square root of 3,825 all divided by 4. So that gives us, these are the two possible. So if we go back to the original question, these are the two values of x that can solve the equation. Now you're saying, what numbers are those? Well, you could estimate what it is, because the square root of 3,825 is approximately 61. So it would be approximately 61 minus 55 divided by 4 for the first solution. And that would give us, for the second solution, would be 61, but there's a negative, so it would be negative 61 approximately, minus 55, which would give us about negative 110. And all that divided by 4. Right? Okay, so that would, so then that divided by 4. Right? Okay. So let me hold on a second. All right. Okay, so we have these two solutions over here. We can't write them down exactly because we don't have an exact square root for either of these two guys. But if we can approximate them if you like. But anyway, that's the solution to the problem. So I hope I answered any questions, and I hope you have a wonderful day.